Hi guys and welcome to my review, not live reaction review of Haikyuu chapter 265. I didn't read this until today, so yeah. There are reasons for why, but let's skip over that. Let's get to the review. This is Nekoma centric, which I'm very happy about because one of the things that's like the highlights of the spring tournament is that there's a good likelihood of us seeing the Battle of the Garbage Dump. That's what it's called, right? Which hasn't happened ever, because Nekoma and Karasu has never met an official match, and this might be it. Like it would seem that with everything they've been through so far, that they would meet at this particular tournament. It'd be really sad if they didn't. Because I really would like Kuro and Tsuki to play against each other. And like half of the regulars of Nekoma are they're third years, and we have of course our 3 third years as well. But it'd be really like we lose Yaku, who I believe is a third year, and we lose Kuro. It'd be really sad. And I really love to see Asahi go against the Nekoma defense as well. So yeah, it'd be really sad if we didn't get an official match between our teams, especially because Karasuno hasn't won a single one. So yeah, I still think that it's gonna be the case. Like I've said before, that I think they'll meet and Karasuno will lose. But I wouldn't be against something else happening. I just think that's more likely to happen because I think Nekoma is the superior team. But yeah, I really like this this Nekoma centric chapter. And I like, cause yeah, Kenma is obviously like, when it comes to Nekoma, if we had been following Nekoma rather than Karasuno, Kenma would probably have been the character we'd focus on, cause I think he's the most interesting. He has like the most unique approach to doing a sport, not exactly at a professional level, but like at this level. And I really like, cause he has the approach of like a video game. Which is really interesting because there are not every character in every show has like that approach, but like one of the characters when I think of like a character that has a video game like approach to whatever situation the manga is set in, the one character that comes to mind is God, what is his name? Oh my God, what is his name? What the I'm so blank because I'm just on Haikyuu. The villain from Boku no Hero Academia. Shigaraki, that's his name. I don't know what the brain fart. Okay, but that's the character I think of. So it's really nice to have like a really nice character like Kenma to have that approach. And we know this already. Like we know he's really into video games, and he's made like references like that before. Like when he said to Hinata that he really wanted a game where when you lose, it's game over. Because again, they haven't had a match like that. They've always been able, or Karasuno's always been able to say one more time whenever they lost. So yeah, but it was really great. Like the entire chapter mostly was like a video game reference. I really like that. And I really like that Kenma got to explain like his the reason that he's still playing. I was about to say basketball. It's volleyball. Because it's not like he particularly loves the game. Like Hinata obsessed with it because Hinata is like, he's the minority, as he says. Like Hinata is so obsessed with it. It's like kind of scary. But it's not like Kenma dislikes the sport. I think his approach to the sport is more like Kuro could have gotten him into any sport basically, and he would have had this particular approach to it. So it's not like he likes it because he doesn't really like exercising, and he doesn't really like being out of breath and just like having his muscles ache and stuff like that. And I can really get behind that because it was like when I did swimming, I was like, the training aspect of it, especially like the part where we didn't actually swim, I always hated that a lot because I prefer to just like do the actual thing. And I hate exercise. Like I really don't enjoy it, so I can like kind of get behind it, but I can also get behind the statement of you liking to see the improvement. So even though you work and you don't really like putting the effort into it, and you don't really like the aching and stuff like that, you still like to see your progress. Because of course with Kenma, he'd be able to do more and more complex things and stuff like that, and you kind of level up every time you can do something new, you get a power up. And I can get behind that as well, because it's like every time I set a new personal best, I'll be like, yes, I did something, I worked hard to get here. So I can really get behind his like mentality behind it. I will say though, personally I was a little different to him. I think I was a little bit less indifferent towards my sport than he is, because he is like, again, I think it could have been like this with any sport that Kuro got him into, but I do think he's kind of talented at volleyball rather than if he got him into some kind of other sport, so lucky for him. But yeah, I really like that, because having Kenma say that if he wanted to quit, he would have quit a long time ago, and then transitioning into the match that they're currently playing, or that they played kind of at the same time as Karasuno, but still a little earlier, because this point in the time where we see the Nekoma game, that's like 30 minutes before Karasuno wins their first set. So I think this match must have started like around the same time, or like a little bit earlier, because I don't know how long the Karasuno game was. It depends. Time is irrelevant in a manga. Like in sports anime or sports manga, time just flies out the window. There's like, it doesn't even matter anymore. But yeah, I really liked how the entire strategy of, the heck were their names? Let me just find it, because I want to remember this. Sarukawa. Their entire strategy lies on just having Kenma be so tired that he literally can't, or that he will make mistakes. And while I think that's a really good plan, I also really like, just before we get completely into that, I liked how we got the, I want to say clarification, but that's not really a word. We got the explanation that the coach of Sarukawa was like a former coach at Nekoma, or like he worked under Nekomata. So he has kind of like the same technique as them, and I really liked how it, from the way they explained it, it's like, rather than just like attacking, they're both like defending teams. So instead of just like going for a point, they'll wait for the other team to make a mistake, and they'll just defend and make sure the ball doesn't fall on their side. And it seems like Nakuma's gonna win this, because we entered the match, it was 13-15 to Nekoma, and now it's 20-22 as far as I can see. So I think Nekuma's gonna win this, and I think Sarukawa is also betting on Nekoma winning the first set. But they're just, again, gonna tire Kenma out really, really nice. They're gonna tire him out, and I think they're probably gonna figure that out at some point, like if they haven't already. But yeah, I really, really like that they're against a team that's so like them, but they have a plan to just completely fuck them over. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Nekoma's gonna deal with this. Because I think this is the first match that we're following Nekoma in the spring tournament. Like we followed them at the qualifiers, but this is like the first thing, and I think we're not gonna see them get defeated here. If they get defeated, or when they get defeated, because they're not gonna win the whole thing, we're gonna see them lose to like a big team. Like they're either gonna lose to Karasuno, as I know a lot of you think they will, or they're gonna lose to Fukurodani, as I think they will, or they're gonna lose to like some big shot team. So yeah. But I think, okay, what I really want to talk about is we have this last page of Kenma as well. And he looks tired, like he has sweat dripping from his face, and he just like looks not like he's on the verge of giving up, but he looks kind of like but I'd really like to see how they tackle this, because I feel like with all that Kenma talked about leveling up and just seeing like his own progress, I think that maybe he has more stamina than we think he has, or that the opponent thinks he has, and I think they'll still like it'll still be a problem, obviously, because if they are trying to tire the setter out, that's going to be a huge problem. Like we know it happened to to Kageyama, even though that was a 5-set match, he got tired around the 4th set against Shiro Torisawa. So it's not an unlikely strategy to have to tire the setter out, because the setter is the one who touches the ball the most. It's the person who sets up the attack, and if the setter makes a mistake, we have it's harder for the spiker to also pull out their full potential. Again, we know this from Shiro Torisawa when Shirabu made that one mistake that Suki made him do, so he blocked Ushiwaka, which usually doesn't happen. So yeah, it's a pretty good strategy they have going there. But again, I think that either Kenma himself or Nekoma are gonna think of like a counter plan, because I really do not think they'll lose, and I don't think anyone think they'll lose this one. I'm more certain with Nekoma than I am with Karasuno at any point, just because I can see when Nekoma's storyline would end. It doesn't make sense to have like the supporting cast lose this early on. Because they're not the main characters, we don't focus on them all the time, so it makes more sense for them to meet Karasuno at some point, and then we'll see from there what happens. If Nekoma is gonna continue on and leave Karasuno behind, or if Karasuno is finally gonna get over that hurdle that is Nekoma, that they've always like faltered at. So yeah, they can't lose now. I'm pretty sure, I'm like 100% certain at this point that they're gonna meet Karasuno, and if they don't, it's Karasuno's fault and not theirs, basically. So yeah, but I am interested in seeing what they're gonna do, because they've had like problems with players not being able to make it the full game. Like the last time we followed them, Yaku got injured, and I can't speak today. Yaku got injured, and they had to switch out their like newbie libero instead. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna deal with their setter, because I don't think I think they must have a backup setter, but obviously it's not gonna be Kenma like. It's true. I think it's much more. I was about to say deadly, but that's like not the right word for this. It's much more crucial to have the same setter instead of having the same libero, because the libero doesn't really engage with the team in the same way that the setter does, because the setter has to set up for other people, while the libero just saves the ball and more or less just gives it to the setter. So yeah, I think if they decide to switch Kenma out for like half a set or one set or whatever to save his stamina, I'm interested in seeing how that would go, because Sadokawa said that there's a likelihood that they would like have to play a full match or a full set match or whatever, so 3 sets. So first set would go to Nakuma, second one would go to Sadokawa, and then Sadokawa would be certain that they could win the third one as well, because if they have tired Kenma out to that point, but the smart choice for Nekoma would then be to win the first set, switch Kenma out in the second set, and not have him play at all then, and then put him back in the third set. Or have a really good counter strategy in the second set and then just win 2 sets in a row. So yeah, I think, but it depends on what their counter strategy would be, because I don't know what that would be. I think the smartest option would be to switch Kenma out, but I don't think that's going to happen because of the setup we had in the first half of the chapter. So I would think that Kenma can last the full 2 sets, because it's not like he doesn't have any stamina. Like, we know that he has a stamina to go through like 3 sets. And again, he is a setter, so he moves around the most. But again, he still, he still does move around more than usual. So question is is Kenma gonna surprise with something, or maybe the attackers are gonna be a little bit more aggressive, because again, as I talked about, both Nekoma and Sadokawa are defense teams, or more on the defense side than like someone like Karasuno, who are obviously a defense team. So maybe like Kuro or someone, all their wing spikers, middle blockers, whatever. They're gonna start being a little bit more aggressive, so that Sadokawa is gonna have to change strategies maybe, because while they're also like the defense team, maybe they won't be able to handle a Nekoma that goes full out on offense. Who knows? But I really thought this chapter was interesting. Like, you'll see, I've talked for like 15 minutes now, 14 minutes, whatever. It was really, really good, and I hope we stay with Nekoma for a little bit. Not too long, because I would like to get back to Karasuno and see them win their match. But I do think that we're gonna stick with Nekoma for like 3 or 4 chapters, maybe 5, maybe a little more, who knows. I'm gonna hope that, I would hope that this entire thing would last 5 chapters tops, but I would not mind more if it's done right. But we'll see. I do enjoy following Nekoma and the other teams as well. Again, because Nekoma's just an intricate team with Karasuno's like whole story and stuff like that. So it'd be really nice to see how they fare against other teams as well. So yeah, I think this is gonna be the end of my review. But I really love this because it was so different from the others. Like the other chapters, like I usually have like some something happened before, so we don't have to talk about everything. But this was like an entirely new storyline that we had to get into here. So there were more to talk about, obviously. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of it. I don't have anything to say, so you can leave a thumbs up if you like the past 15 minutes of me talking about whatever. Leave in the comments below what you thought of the chapter. Did you like it as much as I did? Like, do you like shifting to Karasuno to Nekoma for now? Even if it is in the middle of a Karasuno battle, because I imagine that's a little annoying not getting the conclusion and then jumping to Nekoma, but at the same time it's nice to have them like happen at the same time, because it's almost feeling like we're setting up Karasuno and Nekoma to meet really, really soon. I don't think we have like a plan over like who meets who at what point, but I think it's gonna be soon. So hopefully we're gonna see Karasuno versus Nekoma by the end of the year, or within a year. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but hopefully within a year, like really. I'd like to see it by the end of the year. But yeah, leave in the comments below what you thought of that. And you can subscribe if you want to see more. Until next time, bye.